feeling man, and I think that his main objective is finding the children more so than talking to us, perhaps.
On January 26, 1966, Australia celebrated its national holiday, Australia Day. For many, it was a day of picnics, parades, and beach outings. In the suburb of Edwardstown, South Australia, the Beaumont family was preparing for a day at Glenoak Beach. This idyllic summer day would soon transform into one of the most haunting mysteries in Australian history: the disappearance of the Beaumont children, Jane, Arnna, and Grant. The Beaumont family consisted of Jack and Nancy Beaumont and their 3 children. Jane was 9 years old, Arnna was 7, and little Grant was just 4. The children were known for their lively spirits and close bond. They spent most of their time playing together in their suburban neighborhood, enjoying the simple joys of childhood. On that fateful day, Jack was working, and Nancy, feeling a mix of excitement and trepidation, finally agreed to let her children go to the beach. They promised to stay together and return home for lunch. With that promise, they set off on their adventure. The Beaumont children arrived at Glenoak Beach around 10 o'clock. The beach was bustling with families enjoying the warm summer sun. The children ran towards the water, their laughter ringing out in the air as they splashed in the surf and built sand castles. Nancy reminded them to stay close together. After assuring her that they would, she reluctantly allowed them to roam free for a few hours. She settled down on a nearby bench, keeping an eye on them, while also allowing them the freedom to play. As the morning wore on, beachgoers continued to spot the Beaumont children playing together. They were seen laughing, splashing in the waves, and interacting with other kids on the beach. However, as lunchtime approached, the atmosphere began to shift. By around 12:30 p.m., Nancy realized it was time for them to return. She stood up and looked toward the water, but to her horror, the children were nowhere to be seen. Panic set in as she searched the beach, calling out their names. She approached other parents, asking if they had seen her children. Most had seen them earlier, but no one had noticed when they left. By 2 o'clock, with no sign of her children, Nancy made the difficult decision to contact the police. When Nancy reported the children missing, local authorities immediately initiated a search. Police officers arrived quickly, fanning out across the beach and surrounding areas. A massive search effort began, involving not only police, but also hundreds of volunteers from the community. Helicopters surveyed the coastline, and search parties combed through parks, residential areas, and even local waterways. The grim reality began to settle in. 3 children had vanished without a trace. As news of the disappearance spread, the community rallied together. Schools, businesses, and families joined in the search efforts, handing out flyers and organizing search parties. The media picked up the story, spreading the word and putting pressure on authorities to find the children. For days, the search continued. Volunteers scoured every inch of sand, while police interviewed anyone who might have seen the Beaumont children that day. Public vigils were held, and the faces of the children appeared on television and in newspapers across the nation. As time passed and the search yielded no results, the police investigation took on new urgency. They began interviewing witnesses who had been at the beach on the day of the disappearance. A few witnesses reported seeing a man behaving suspiciously near the children, sparking concerns of possible abduction. Detectives compiled descriptions from various witnesses, attempting to create a profile of the potential suspect. He was described as tall and wearing a dark hat, but despite extensive searches and inquiries, he was never identified. Theories about the children's disappearance began to surface. Some believed they had drowned, while others speculated they had been kidnapped. Nancy and Jack were desperate for answers, but faced the agony of uncertainty. Their children had vanished, and the hope of finding them alive was fading. As weeks turned into months, the investigation continued. Police followed up on leads and tips from the public, but nothing concrete materialized. The case had become a national obsession, capturing the attention of both the media and the public. As the search continued, the emotional toll on the Beaumont family was devastating. Jack and Nancy were engulfed in despair, grappling with the loss of their 3 children. The couple received overwhelming support from their community, but the pain of not knowing weighed heavily on them. They spoke to the media, sharing their anguish and pleading for anyone with information to come forward. The community held vigils, lighting candles and praying for the safe return of Jane, Arnna, and Grant. The Beaumont case transcended local news. It became a national tragedy. The children's faces were plastered across newspapers and television screens, creating a shared sense of grief and urgency throughout Australia. The story ignited public interest, with many people following the developments closely. Police worked tirelessly, but with every passing day, the likelihood of finding the children alive diminished. The case prompted conversations about child safety, leading many parents to rethink how they supervise their children. Despite exhaustive investigations, the Beaumont children's disappearance remains one of Australia's most enduring mysteries. In 1992, they were declared legally dead, but their case has never been officially closed. The lack of resolution left a permanent mark on their family and the community. Over the years, various theories have emerged, with some suspects being named, but no definitive leads have ever surfaced. The story of the Beaumont children continues to resonate, drawing attention from true crime enthusiasts and documentary filmmakers alike. The disappearance of the Beaumont children sparked widespread changes in child safety awareness across Australia. Schools and communities began implementing educational programs on safety, emphasizing the importance of supervision and the dangers of strangers. The case serves as a chilling reminder of the vulnerability of children and the importance of vigilance. Parents and communities took proactive measures to protect their children, learning from the tragic story of Jane, Arnna, and Grant.